There we go. Whatever, just a mini session because we probably picked the worst time ever possible. But anyways, just have some fun in the progress. So Raheel, it is you then, the chosen one. You lucky day. Can
Hello,
have
Reem.
some. How are you doing, man?
Good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, doing fine also. So Michael
Right.
Jones, maybe you want to jump in as well. We have Jake in the house. So yeah, whatever. Just a quick, spontaneous session. Why the hell not? Make at least something out of the mock condition right now. So yeah, let's just actually do it. Let's just make a quick and easy cycle variation, mini cycle session. Really, you want to go?
Yep. Why not?
Sure,
Let's
go
try.
ahead. Sure, let's do it actually yesterday and the day before. And let's see how we can make a little bit sense out of that one, because it actually was really, really nice.
Yes.
There you go. Awesome. So if you want to go, let's say actually make 2 days, whatever, have some fun.
Yes.
So you can do one, let's make not today and one yesterday, make the day before that. Yeah. Yeah, something like this. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Let's see how we doing. Because obviously in hindsight we already could see what happened, like a little bit cheating a little bit in terms of we saw that we didn't had the nicest cycles in terms of daily cycles, but we had like really clean cycles for mini cycles we covered, for example, in the Sunday slaughter last week, right? So let's see, my man, how good you still memorize everything in terms of the mini cycles, right? Because that already in here is kind of tricky. Why is that right? Okay, so that's already a little bit tricky in terms of the overall cycle variation, but let's see what you can get out of it. So let's walk us through. Come on.
Okay. All right. Well, first I would say if I zoom out, we had a almost a build up. This whole area is a build up. Let's go to 60.
So already notifying that, where's your next liquidity zone? If you go back to the 5, just using the lower time frame, just zooming out. Or you can use it like this also, yeah.
So I would say that was a big liquidity zone that we've taken. So we had a medium inducement
Very good.
in this area. So therefore we would trade away from the medium inducement. Okay. Let's just get the timings back on. And therefore.
So can you mock up the inducement again on, like, so we see which one it was, because it looked like it's stage 1, right?
15.
There you go. Exactly. So we see that's obviously the Asia inducements are not the nicest ones for our overall picture, right? So not the strongest one, but definitely, as you said, it's definitely median inducement in terms of the bigger picture, but not the nicest in terms of the timing aspect, right?
Yep.
So we just have to know that.
Okay. So I would say the Asia, that was definitely the inducement of, or the final inducement of all this liquidity that has been taken.
I agree. Until unless what? Like, what's your next liquidity zone if you just look at this overall, like, cycle play, right? Or uptrending, final inducement up till. So where's your next technical potential pullback zone you should at least target?
I would say bare minimum, I would say this area, we've got equal lows, but we've got also equal lows in this area.
And what's for structure purposes like the nicest place you could induce if you just look at that? Like, let's say the induced structure here, is that a nice structure inducement? Or would it be rather this one or like even this one? Or like maybe even this one or maybe this one? Like, what would be very nice in terms of structure plays? What they would induce to low side?
Ideally, well, from this leg created the inducement from this point, but major I would say this area would be the first liquidity zone to be taken, because this was also the previous week low.
Exactly. Nicholas said it, hinted it already. Very good, Nicholas. Also, so definitely, if you have like a medium inducement to the high side, we should, of course, aim at least for the next liquidity target. And you said it both perfectly correct. That would be the weekly lows, and that would be a reasonable target we could already have in mind, right? That makes sense in terms of liquidity. It makes sense perfectly in the cycle, and also would induce this overall channel with like a pullback zone, right? And obviously induces people to the short side, and then we could be ready having a pullback area, right? Or whatever continuation. We will obviously see what the daily cycles bring from there on, right? But that at least makes very much sense in terms of the overall picture. You agree?
Yes, agreed.
Oh yeah, Nicholas, there you go. Congratulations. Yeah. Okay, so with that in mind, obviously we already can see, okay, we had technically this inducement and technically even came back on this day, which we missed, obviously, right? But obviously it came back, as you can see in hindsight. Even if you could have caught it, that would ended up break even. So now the next day aligns. So we obviously can see what we could make out of it. But we already, what else can we see if you look at this one, for example, Ryan? What else could you see?
Let's go to this.
Right, so we had the extreme. We had like technically the mitigation of the extreme. It came back once, back, even second one, induces the highs one more time. Now mitigates that technically, and then just out of there. So do we necessarily need to become a fifth time higher? Should we need to expect that or no?
No, but it could happen. But we had a major inducement.
No, yeah, medium one, I would say, but definitely yes.
So medium, yeah.
And but you look at the waiting room, right? Because like I think you not let anyone in so far.
Oh, I have.
Oh, okay. Because every time I check the waiting room, there's at least someone in there. So,
oh no, I'm looking.
Okay. So yeah, but that in mind, like, do we expect that they need to come back a seventh time to induce whatever, which seems to be like equal highs or whatever? Or like, are we technically still done and we're trading away from the medium induce when it just messes around a little bit, induces higher and mitigates, and then is out of there? Gives you technically
the cycle is done.
I agree, right? So we don't need to. That's again where you don't get confused of like, oh my god, equal highs once again, and this and this and this. No, like again, induced high one more time. This technically is the push that led to the high, right? Now you have this valid, whatever people want to call it, the like changing market cycles, whatever you want to call it, whatever, just a break of structure away from the inducement. We had that perfectly fine, right? So what can we now expect from the next cycle play in here? Now we have Asia. So what is this, for example? What do they do here?
It's a mini build-up.
Exactly, mini build-up. So what do we expect of the mini build-up?
Maybe induce this mini build-up to go short.
Okay, so let's see. Actually, first of all, we need to mock up the build-up for this day now. So we don't care about the other days at this point. We just see the mini build-up, right? There you go. That's the mini build-up.
And there's also equal lows.
Depending on how you see it, obviously, you should definitely count that wick in. So technically, this is still your Asia low, right? So I would not consider this as equal lows completely, but I see your point if you just want to mock it up for clarification. But yeah, it's not technically equal lows because the low is Asia low, right?
Okay.
Would be a different scenario if this wick would be the beginning of Asia and you had a wick like in this, but it's like literally mid Asia, so you cannot just ignore it.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I would not mock the build up like this. I would actually mock it like this, right? So the channel, so obviously from here to here, right? So you have this little channel they're already building up. Exactly, something like this. You see why? So nicer would even be from this point to this, because then you have the little very perfect channel thing. And then obviously that's what the retailers love. They see that channel and they obviously wait for breakout of the channel, and then they obviously take the side where it breaks out to, right?
Okay. Yep.
So where are we in the cycle though for our understanding? Like what's the next thing we should expect?
Inducement.
To which side?
To the upside to trade down.
Very, very good. 100 points. So let's see what confirmations we need though to take something in terms of trades. Okay. So let's see. What's your next timing you would be interested in?
Frankfurt open.
So can you mark it up with a line? What time zone are you in? UTC +1?
Yeah, you
so
can.
what is it for you? Okay, for it's 7 for you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's your next potential timing window you would be interested.
Yes. And then,
cool, man. You did very good last time, so you definitely had 100 points already.
let's just MM1. MM2. Okay. All right.
Very good. So let's see if you can make some sense out of it now, right? Okay, so let's continue a little bit, but just okay. No, stop. Walk me through it. Come on.
Okay. All right. Right. So we've got the build-up, waiting for the inducement. Expecting inducement potentially of this area to be induced to go lower.
Yeah, that's the bigger cycle plate. Is the build-up technically being induced right now? Yes or no? So did they broke the channel or no? Or did they break the channel?
No.
No, why not?
Well,
is this still in the channel?
Oh, okay. This part of the channel has been, they broke out of the channel to go higher.
Exactly. So is the build-up technically being broken? Yes or no?
Yes.
Exactly. So that's very important to understand your first step. Like, when is the build-up not a build-up anymore, and when are you in the inducement stage, right? So you had your channel build-up, right? But now this again doesn't fit in the build-up stage again. You had your channel to the downside like this, right? And now they're giving retailers obviously the breakout, whatever retest of this stuff, and wants to continue higher, right? So obviously retailers see this as confirmation. For now, oh, crazy, we have so many imbalances in here and craziness, and oh my god, channel downside, breaks out, whatever, flag shit, whatever, that stuff, retailer stuff, we don't care about that. But what's the real intention, right? We had Asia lows, build up, inducement high, as you said perfectly, with what intention to do?
To induce, or
to induce high to go high, what?
Go lower.
Exactly. Would that make sense in terms of
something?
The
bias.
Exactly. So if obviously that would be the case they're trying to do here, that would make absolutely perfect sense. Very good, Mike, also. Right? So let's see what they're doing additional to that. So you see the inducement high, right? So what's the next timing window? Frankfurt, do we have a setup we could trade into the inducement?
Potentially.
What is it called? We gave it a very weird name.
A smart money trap?
No, we gave the setup you would to trade into Frankfurt, into the inducement. We gave it a very funny name.
Oh, Frank and Frank Curious.
Exactly, the stuff nobody ever could talk about. Right, exactly. Nicholas, also we have Asia midline for liquidity purposes, right? So technically, again, if the mitigation comes up in this area in Frankfurt, that would be our ideal scenario, right? So that would be technically the perfect fast punctuous trades, but we have to monitor the cycle and see what they show us, right? So what would be confirmations to take the downside after the buildup is induced? What, for example, maybe 2? What confirmation would we have to take a short trade?
Maybe a induce and then maybe a let.
Maybe we have a let, maybe we have timing, maybe we have a break of structure to the downside, or something on the lower time frames anyways, right? So something like this could all be confirmations if the cycle could be ready, right?
Yes.
So with that in mind, where would be the next break of structure to the low side if this is the inducement stage right here?
Ideally, break of structure for Asia low.
No. So let's say you wanted to trade the fast and Frankfurt trade in Frankfurt. There has to be a break of structure of this to actually consider a short trade. See what I mean?
We want to break this area.
Mhm.
or this area?
Exactly. So technically, we have like already a minor breakout structure, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, could be fake. Obviously, we don't know. So that's why we need to wait for more confirmations, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see what's going on.
Okay. So technically, we've got a break of structure, or it could be a fake break of structure at this point.
Mhm. So for argument's sake, just leave it under 5 minutes. So we
Okay.
obviously
Alright.
can make a little bit more place here, right? Okay, so do we have a break of structure here?
Yes.
Okay, mini one, right? But
Mini.
not really the better one as well.
This area.
Exactly. So can you mock this one up also? Very good. Okay, so what can you do?
Wait at the moment,
Mhm.
because it's not timing yet. It's still a few minutes.
Very good. So let's wait then and see what they do. If they show us a play, okay, what's going on here?
So now we have relative equal lows.
Not really. I mean, not really equal lows, but what is it more like? If you mocked it up already?
Break of structure.
Exactly. So where's technically your next mitigation zone? Just looking at the 5 minute. No. After break of structure, right? If that's the break of structure, right? This push obviously led to the break of structure. So what ideally you can trade it from? Yeah, very good. Exactly, something like this, right? Obviously not like it does not end here, but where should it end?
There.
Exactly. Right, and that's just monitoring the 5 minute and how it makes sense. So we had obviously a valid build-up. We had a break off the build-up. Obviously, the ideal zone would be something higher, but we unfortunately didn't get that. Now you get a break of structure downside. What's our timing window? Frankfurt, perfect, right to the minute. Do we have imbalance? Yes, we have. Could we have a potential mitigation to that?
Yes.
Maybe. Do we have a valid target, which would be Asia low? Do we have that also?
Yep. Yes, we do.
Perfect. So that's technically your first
trade.
First trade, exactly.
And this cycle could be completed.
Exactly. So yeah, Jake, I know we chose the most random time ever, but yeah, definitely. I think it's recorded, so we put that on to Vault. So no worried about that. Okay, so technically, could we monitor that? Would it make sense? Would we be surprised if we get an entry here or no?
No. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Interesting. So should we be freaked out now and not take the trade because it's going so high?
No.
Exactly. So that's something we definitely can take, is it?
Yes, absolutely.
Should we be confused that a random let appears to the downside and whatever?
No.
Exactly. So that's, again, when do we look at the entry helper?
When it's in our zone.
And we have a valid cycle completion, which we now technically have now, right? So if we wanted to look at the entry helper, we can only look at for, obviously, M1 after the cycle is completed, and then we use it afterwards, right? Not right randomly now. It doesn't even make sense, right?
Yes.
So there's your first sell to the downside, obviously. And where should you target for?
Asia low.
Exactly. What could happen if you don't target the right way? Because obviously you mocked it up also. Where's your next inducement zone of the build-up?
That's the imbalance. That's the extreme.
So at this point, you have to again switch your bias. Like first, in this stage, it would work for mitigation because you never had an inducement. Let's assume and let's think a few steps ahead. If you get an inducement low, would that still be in your mitigation area? Or would it be more like a liquidity zone where you want to take out, grab liquidity, and then take lower?
This will definitely be a liquidity zone, this area.
Mm-hmm.
It could.
Okay, so maybe let's walk it a step by step first. Okay? So first we are in this trade obviously right here. So are you good with taking this sell, yes or no? Do we have a lot of confirmations or do we make shit up here?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's
So just a lazy 1 to 3.5. It is what it is, right?
Yeah. But obviously we can still go down to the 1 minute as well.
Technically, we could do that. Well, let's not do that for this argument's sake, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. Not bad.
Okay.
So should we close this trade or should we hold it on forever? Because we're trading away from a medium inducement, but it's Frankfurt. Should we just randomly hold this trade because we aim for the fences? So this is a very good target to close.
It's a good target or minimum target.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Right. So what's the next logical thing now? So we have now our time window from what?
London. London
exactly.
Is coming up.
So we had our mini build up before. We induced the mini build up. Now we induced high, obviously to go lower to complete what?
The cycle.
Exactly, at least until the target. So if that's the inducement low, what's your next target you should aim for?
No,
don't zoom out that much. Come see it just from the cycle. We had obviously this being your last inducement, which mitigated the medium inducement, right? So do we need to necessarily induce the whole thing a fifth time again?
No.
Exactly. So where's your next liquidity zone on just this picture? To the high side, obviously. Now we induce low. Where's your next inducement zone?
This area.
Exactly. Nicholas said also. But the question now is, should you look for mitigation or should you look for smart money trap into inducement and then go lower and complete something to the left as you're trading away from a medium inducement?
Okay. This area will be the smart money trap because we've got equal lows or equal highs. So this is a smart money trap.
Okay. 100%. The only question is this one? Now, as we had an inducement low, should we look for inducement low into a liquidity grab or into a mitigation?
It could be a smart money trap.
Exactly. So we just have to be very aware of that. So the best case scenario, you just don't run a limit on it. If you're not sure, just don't run a limit on it and look for lower time frames instead for confirmations after. Okay, because if you're not sure, then never run a freaking limit. You should never guess and hope it will hold. So if you're not entirely sure, but you have an inducement low, but you know, okay, this is a liquidity area, is it a mitigation or is it a smart money trap? Just wait for some lower time frame confirmation when it comes back here and then decide from there on, okay? But let's just see first if we even made shit up or not.
Okay.
Why does Asia Midland turn into smart money trap? Very good question. Because we had the mini cycle build up, inducement high to complete the cycle to the bigger picture, right? So now we induced Asia Midland, Asia low to the low side. Now this technically mini cycle over here, again, what do they do? Building up, building up, building up, Asia low being induced in our time window. So we're looking, obviously our perfect cycle is of course, if you take Asia range, blah, 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 something like this. Of course, our ideal cycle is taking out Asia high and then go lower. That's our starter kit cycle. But as we looked at the higher time frames, this mitigated something to the left, which was the medium inducement of Asia. And this mitigated, there's technically a break of structure now. So this becomes your next logical inducement area if they want to go lower. Again, they usually don't mitigate just then, again, give people the chances to get into the trade and then continue lower. They want to grab, as always, liquidity high and then go lower.
Okay.
Right? So the external inducement, Nicholas, would be the inducement we had to the left on the higher time frames. This is all inside internal inducement, and technically this would be internal like intraday external inducement. That's where shits get a little bit confusing because it's induced technically the Asia low, right? So this is external, but if it's inside here, this is technically your internal inducement because it not induced something out of Asia range, if that makes sense, right? So be very careful about those different variations, right? So if it's an internal structure, you induce to the inside, and if it's outside, then obviously it's external, right? So we technically want to say it like this, Nicholas. Also, we had a cycle completion external, Now we're looking for a next liquidity area to be grabbed until they can go lower. So again, if you're not sure if it should be mitigation or smart money trap, not a problem also. Just wait if they come in here in the first place, and then wait for lower time frame confirmations, timing, you know, all that stuff, and then decide from there on. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So another question is, did we induce anything to the left other than Asia range yet? So you have to zoom out to find out. So did we induce anything to the left?
Yes.
Would you say so? I mean, this maybe, yes, and then it
Maybe.
comes in here, right?
Yeah.
So is that a mini cycle or is it a valid cycle? So do we have a mini cycle completed into a smart money trap, into inducement, into mitigation now? Or is this a valid completed cycle that induced something crazy to the left and now the whole cycle can return and makes new higher highs?
No.
See the difference?
Yeah.
So does this make sense in terms of a mini cycle play to induce the structure points into extreme mitigation? This technically was a mini inducement also. So would that at least make sense for mitigation for a mini cycle? Yes or no?
Yes.
Exactly. So with that in mind, obviously we can do what or can expect what?
The next point to induce to go
Exactly.
higher.
So you see, everything literally here is making sense. Like you cannot even make anything up here if you just follow the rules, right? So again, we had our bigger cycle. Now we're in a perfect time window for London. What it did it before, induce the mini cycle, inducement high side, right? Then obviously go low, complete another mini cycle to the left. Also makes perfect sense. Induce structure goes into another mitigation zone, which also was an inducement of Asia low. Perfect. Do we expect obviously new higher highs trading into medium inducement? Yes or no?
No.
Exactly. Where's your next liquidity area? Asia midline, or obviously the structure point. In this scenario, it's both, even nicer. So do we necessarily need mitigation here?
No.
Would it be nicer?
Yes.
Exactly. But again, we're not making shit up. We just take what's there. But does this now confirm the cycle to the downside? Is technically the mini cycle is completed and we can aim for next liquidity zone? Yes or no?
Yes.
Perfect. Do we get surprised?
No.
Awesome. So let's see what we can make out of it. All right. So taps in. So maybe whatever, you just mark something up that technically there was something to the left for mitigation. So you just understand, okay, it could make sense that it directs from here. Again, if you really wanted to trade it, you technically could, but whatever, like not the biggest, nicest play, but nice cycle, mini cycle play, but obviously trading against the medium inducement, right?
Okay.
Okay, so we understand that mini cycle is completed. So technically we can look for buy scenarios, right?
Boys. Yes.
Okay, so where's your next break of structure point? If you take it from the 5-minute perspective, maybe you can zoom a little bit. My eyes are too bad for that. There you go. So we either had, I help a little bit with that one because it's tricky. So technically the next break of structure would be that, but that's kind of weird. And then we had like this little pullback zone, right? Which we technically could get also. Make sense?
Yes. Because if it breaks this structure, then it might just mitigate or induce this area to go lower.
Technically, but again, we should be careful about mitigation in here, but I see what you mean. Right?
Okay. Yeah, because it could also be a smart money trap.
Exactly. But now we're obviously having the cycle completed to the downside. We have vector candles. Obviously, see these huge candles to the downside, right? Perfect. Into mitigation zone, timing window is absolutely perfect. So now we're just looking for confirmations on the 5 for maybe taking this cycle play to the upside until at least these areas, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what we have next. Okay, got even lower, we don't care. Okay, messes around, who cares? Awesome. Okay, what do we see or what do we have?
Okay. Well, it's now timing is London Open. I led to the opposite side.
Yeah, but do we care about that at all?
No.
Oh, no. Exactly. Not at all, right? Again, when is the only time we look at the entry helper?
When we are in the zone for
Yeah.
potential.
Exactly. So if anything, you're looking for let's to the upside, right? Because
Yes.
you're trading away from this cycle completion. And obviously only
inducement.
would be interested in the here, right? You see the next imbalance zone, obviously, right? So obviously
Yes.
if they give you a break of structure, whatever, baby break of structure, again, that's the only thing we have technically in the 5-minute time frame, right? So where's your next imbalance zone? Where's your next mitigation zone? Where's your next demand zone? Yeah, or maybe again, what's the imbalance fill?
Imbalance fill will be
Something like this, yeah. So depending on how low you want to mark the zone, yeah, but you can make it like this, right?
Yep.
Makes sense?
It's already been mitigated. Or there's no imbalance.
Yeah, so but the only imbalance we had technically is from here to here, right? Obviously, the candle is still open.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so let's see. If you get a nice break of structure. Okay, so depending on how this thing turned out in a 1 minute, maybe we got a break of structure first and it came back and obviously mitigated, or if it obviously came back first and mitigated and whatever go high, we don't know. We need to find out a lower time frames, but just for stay in the 5 minute, does it make sense what they did here?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So they filled technically perfectly the imbalance they just created from a zone which made absolute perfect sense. Do we have potential trade opportunity? Yes.
Yes.
Is it likely you caught it? Probably not. Right?
Yeah.
But at least we can understand what the hell is going on here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so should we get excited about this cells in here?
No.
Exactly. Because why?
We have liquidity and potential smart money trap.
Yes. So if anything, you should be, this is 100% like in the inducement zone, right? If anything, you could think about again something in here, but then again, you're not sure if this is the cycle to the downside, grabs liquidity low, a high to go lower. So the best scenario in this case is anyways to just wait what they do, wait for lower time frame confirmation in this scenario, and then decide if you want to take the mitigation or wait for the inducement and then lower, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's see what they did. So faking the smart money trap, giving a fake reaction as always, right?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Smack the smart money trap. Okay. There you go. Makes people excited to take the cells, obviously. Yeah, now they're getting really excited because whatever they think, inducement, love, whatever, this and this. And now they probably take this cell, right? So after whatever fake break of structure, depending on how you see it. Should we get too excited about that now, though?
No, not yet.
So again, if you're not sure, just wait.
Wait. And
boom.
We had inducement.
Just waiting in this scenario would just, yeah, first of all, save you a very annoying L and gives you more clarity now because you literally now, with this wick, you got one more confirmation that this cycle could be done.
Completely.
Right? Because again, you have inducement low into mini mitigation, into structure breaks also, right? Then technically you had your smart money trap. Now technically this becomes the for fuck's sake. Now you grab the liquidity. Obviously the next nice target would be some mitigation zones, but that's optional. So now we can monitor the lower time frames to see if we get something nice for entry opportunities, right? And only then, you see?
Yes. But also as we could also look at the 50% zone of the imbalance.
You could, but that's, in my opinion, that's more like really wanted to find something. And we rather don't do that. We just rather wait for confirmations, right? But again, if you want to invest to 50% something like whatever, like here, but again, like that's not really a great confirmation. Oh, look at the accuracy of my beautiful line there. But anyways, so I would not recommend you do that. Again, just monitor lower time frame and use timing for indication. You technically have your inducement high, right? Obviously from the structure point, nice would be into the POI. If it doesn't do that, not a problem. That's why we have the lower time frames, entry helper, timing, and everything like that, right? So let's just actually use the first time, the 1 minutes.
Okay.
And see what we got. So what's the latest pullback zone we have in this scenario? Like if you just look at this push, what's the highest pullback zone?
This area.
Is it the highest pullback zone?
Oh, there.
Exactly. So if you look from extreme mitigation, where's your break of structure?
We will wait for this area.
Exactly, because this is obviously a little bit too low, right? And if that, then you literally can take this one instead. That would be better. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if anything, don't pick this one. Either pick this one or this one, right? But don't pick the one in the middle. That's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
Right. So take the highest one for extreme mitigation or whatever. If it goes higher, then it becomes this one. You see what it works? Or if it goes higher, then it becomes this one, blah, blah, blah. So that's how you not making shit up, but actually just see what's there. Okay, but let's actually see. So is that cycle technically, has it induced something? Yes or no?
Yes.
So can you extend the line so we see it?
Yeah.
There you go. Right. So in mine now, cycle completion, check. Obviously, now if you want to look for an extreme mitigation, you wait all the way until it goes back to the extreme mitigation up here, which technically could be happening. You never know.
Yes.
Or you wait for lower time frame confirmations, which
Makes sense.
confirms you some sort of directional change. And then obviously you use timing as you mocked it up already. Magic manipulation minutes 1 is right around the corner. We have our entry help also, which all could make confirmations, right?
Yes.
So what do we do?
Wait at the moment.
Very good. So it goes higher. Do we care about that?
No.
Exactly.
All right.
Interesting. So what is going on here?
We've got now internal break of structure.
Semi, I would say, yeah. Not really, but at least victed. Right. So maybe even more equal lows.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. So technically, again, if let's say you consider this as a, so where would be a potential zone?
There's an imbalance.
Yeah. So can we mark it up for understanding purposes? Yeah, something like maybe fill the imbalance.
Yep.
But right, but where's the imbalance though if you mark it up like this?
Imbalance will be there.
Yeah, I mean the high is fine if you take it. Again, there's no need of adjusting the high, but where's the imbalance for the low side? When is it filled technically?
There.
Not really. Like where's the imbalance fill? You just take again, you had imbalance from here to here. So when is it filled?
This candle.
No, but it's here, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you can take this zone. Again, only if you saw this as a break of structure. If not, then not. Could we have a good one? No, timing sucked on this one, but we use the random marking conditions right now. The bank holidays. Oh, why not? Just have some fun still in trading sessions. Okay, there you go. Right. So did it tap yet? No.
No.
Okay, so let's wait. As always, right?
Yeah.
So can we have an entry opportunity, an entry help opportunity?
There's no confirmation on the entry help.
Exactly. So again, the only thing that's a very risky entry if you take it, because there's literally not really any confirmations until other inducement high, semi break of structure, mitigation, timing, right? But there's no entry helper, no clean break of structures yet.
No.
Okay, but technically valid, risky, and not the cleanest.
Yeah, great.
So I'm not sure if it tapped to the minute or no. Okay, at least tap now. Magic manipulation minutes. What a surprise.
Yep.
Right, what a surprise. 1 minute late, sorry. Everyone gets a refund. There you go. Thanks, Cam, for reminding me in that one. Doesn't work. Complete scam. Right? Perfect. But what's the nicest clean break of structure, obviously? if it breaks clean, right? Because now technically, yeah, obviously this one, but even this one's not the nicest. It's more like the equal lows, right?
Yeah, if we have a clear break structure of this liquidity.
Exactly. So, but this one, technically valid, not the nicest one, not the cleanest one, but definitely only to the minute and after valid cycle play, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what's going on here.
Okay.
And if you get some other opportunities in forms of entry helper, better confirmation. So let's see. Okay, what do we have now?
Entry helper has also turned below the equilibrium line as well.
Exactly, and nicer breaker structures, right? So now technically you could say, yeah, now it makes more sense.
Yes.
Okay, so what's going on here on the entry helper? Not the nicest.
No.
But is it technically a let?
Yes.
Yeah, not the nicest, 100% for sure. But at least that locks it in. So if you miss the extreme one, that technically would be your second opportunity to enter this trade. Again, definitely not the nicest let by sure. Oh, for sure. But technically, yeah, that would be whatever, depending on how you take the stop loss. Technically, like this, right? No. This one you have to leave upside. This one, yeah, this one has to be higher. Yeah, exactly. Just talking about this entry technically here. If you take it like this, obviously it would be very risky to put your stop above here. That makes sense. Okay. So if you take this entry, you still have to put your stop loss above here. Get what I mean?
Yeah.
So we had this. No. So we had obviously this entry, like leave that for now.
Yeah.
So the let entry obviously after this break of structure now, right?
Yeah.
The valid one. This technically left the imbalance. Again, you take it. Here's your entry, but your stop loss again. Technically, you can make it running fucking insanely risky. Then, then you're probably even getting an L here based on spread and everything, right? But again, logically, you should put your stop above here. If you take it like here, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Just for here's your entry. Yeah. Exactly, but your stop logically should go above here. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And now again, where can we aim for technically? What's your next zone on the 5 minute looking to the left? All right, so we had obviously this inducement from, if we induce this one as a first liquidity grab, then technically, what's your next smart money trap? What's your next mitigation?
We still have equal lows. So obviously it will be a smart money trap.
Yep. Right. So technically, what's the next inducement zone we should definitely aim for at least?
This zone at least.
Okay, you could aim for this one or obviously this one, and then depending on how you see the cycle, you could see this as a smart money trap, and then this is a valid mitigation. But then again, you have the equal low, so I completely agree with that. So we just have to be very careful in these areas, and then obviously wait for this ones, right?
Next one, yeah.
Right. Okay. Perfect. So just aim at least for areas like this, or if you want to partial in these areas, 100% can, and you have to wait for the cycle because technically can be smart money trap, can be valid mitigation, and then technically you aim for the lowest ones, but you have to wait for the cycle and the day until what's happening there, right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Then let's go back. To see what you make out of those good trades. Okay. So let's see.
Okay, must I go back to the 1 minute?
No, just 25. Okay. Or maybe whatever, you can look for EDM trades or something like that if you really wanted to. That's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look for EDMs then. You tell me when we have something juicy. So here's your next valid break of structure, the cleaner one actually in the first place. Exactly.
Yeah, well.
So mark it up. Okay, let's go. Okay, that's really nice. Why is it nice? Hopefully gives
So-
fake break of structure to the high
Oh.
side.
Yep.
Obviously get everyone excited about the crazy support.
Going.
Not yet though. Okay, taps one more time. There you go. There's your fake breaker structure from the support coming or whatever from the continuation traders, right? They see obviously this as a new higher high. They want to trade the order flow back high. Now they're getting even more confirmations, internal breaker structures, whatever. They're taking those buys for the high side, right? So guess what will not gonna happen? Buys to the high side, right? So guess what? Or maybe I'm making shit up. So let's see. Okay, what should we see instead? Where's your next imbalance zone? Emrit, have a good one. I know timing sucked on that one. It's recorded. So enjoy, man. Have a good weekend and holiday. Don't miss Chow's call, though. Don't miss Chow's call on Sunday if you can. Will be a good one. There you go. Sounds good. See you then. Have a good one. Okay. So do we have an imbalance fill? No. Even nicer, right? So what do we look for? EDMs, obviously, right? You have an EDM? No.
No, and we still will equal lows.
So now all the smart money traders getting screwed because obviously they had the breaker structure, a new higher high, whatever, continuation order flow, internal breaker structure, smart money trap, everything, and now they're getting all screwed. They all cry. We obviously be very happy about that, and we look for what? You mocked it up already. Exactly.
Yes, imbalance.
And if it's an EDM, obviously even nicer.
Yes.
So let's see. Okay, what a surprise.
And it's
only fills the imbalance. It's a kind of an EDM.
Yeah, and it's also kind of late on the static line as well.
Oh, exactly. Did not even see that with my old eyes. So can we take that?
Yes.
There you go. Perfect. Where should we aim for? Again, at least low lows, right?
Yeah, same as.
And always be a little bit careful with the lower, because again, you never know what they do. So we should take more casual targets with the lower orders. So 1 to 7, something. Yeah, maybe a little bit lower, because again, you at least want to low yesterday's low, something like that, which was this one, if I remember. Right, at least this one we should take. Yeah, something like this. 1 to 8, nobody would complain about that. Only Campbell.
Right.
Not good enough. Exactly, Cam. Right, so what a surprise. Like, what a surprise.
Yeah.
Right, so we should be all very surprised, Peter. Like, it's...
Oh, yes.
There you go. So let's check the 5-minute again for cycle confirmations. Because everything is done. There's no more entries, right? They'll be done in terms of everything we look for. We had our LETs, we had our extreme, we had our ADM. Now the next thing is obviously target.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. What's the next timing window? Maybe.
MM2.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit irrelevant now, because if you look at where we are in the cycle, then what's the next target area in terms of time? You see why this maybe is irrelevant? Because we had every entry opportunity possible anyways, right? Next timing could be what? New York trap.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you said London trap.
New York trap.
Oh,
Did I
is
say
it-
London trap?
New York, is that that is 2 o'clock?
New York trap, if you're in the UK, should be 2 o'clock for you, yes.
Yes. Okay.
But you mocked up 1, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay,
Oh,
but that's
in
magic
2.
manipulation minute 2. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But again, we already can see in terms of the place where it's placed that it probably will be irrelevant because you look for inducement low, if that makes sense. And then, yeah, we all had all entry opportunities in terms of the LEDs, the extreme, and the EDMs. So there's technically nothing we'd be interested in here anyways. See what I mean?
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Sean in the waiting room. Is he? I don't see him in the waiting room. Oh. I'm here now. Daniel, you're not Sean. That's what he told you. Where is he? I don't see him. Oh, it's 2 Daniels. Oh, he's on there with Daniel's account. Oh, okay, okay. Wow, wow, wow. Confusion. Okay, made a mistake here. Oh, okay. I see what you guys doing here. Crazy. There you go. Let's see if we have time for another one, but let's just finish that one because I love it.
Yeah.
It's been using it for okay. By the way, Daniel and Sean, if you just can throw that in quick. If you want to use our Zooms instead, obviously you can. We can give you the access to that if you want to use it also. So you have whatever watermarks and stuff, all there, wherever you can record the session if you want, especially for the one you want to do on Saturday, which I love, the manifestation one. So yeah, it's up to you. Obviously, if you want to use it, we can provide it to you. If you want to use your own one, obviously your thing, but it would be nice, obviously, if you can use the original one and then maybe record the manifestation session also. That would be cool. Oh, you have on there as well. Okay, perfect then. Up to you, my man. Up to you. Okay, so let's continue.
Okay.
Sean is in here as well now. Very good. Okay, so let's see what we have. And always monitor the left also in these scenarios, right? So always now they're building up equal lows. Will that gonna hold? The $1 million question, will it will hold? Yes or no? Will support traders will finally get their first winning trade of the day? You will find out.
Yeah. Shortly.
Yeah, but you also have to notice though how, again, we don't want to make too much fun out of it, but you can see how structure is getting freaked over left and right. Again, technically having the internal structure, you're getting whatever, your first internal break of structures, you're getting then low side, and you're getting a new break of structures. Then obviously that would be entry opportunity, getting another break of structures to the high side, internal ones, getting screwed over again. Then technically again, they would get break of structure to the low side this time, blah, blah, blah. They would look for sells in here. Like, it's crazy. Like, I hope everyone understands that by now, that you only should look for structure when it makes sense and not overall in here, because you will make very funny videos very soon where we shit on structure a little bit because it actually causes more confusion than anything. I hope you understand why at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see though what we have.
Yeah, obviously the cycle has been completed to the upside. That's why we
Is it complete to the downside though?
No, not yet.
Exactly. So what technically do we look for next? What's our first thing always in terms of our lit cycle?
Build up.
Exactly.
Build up, inducement, and potential mitigation.
Okay, sounds good. So let's see what they give us. So let's fast forward this a little bit. So obviously that's Opa, too bad for the support traders. Too bad. And for the continuation traders, because guess what? There's your low, let's see whatever, makes a new higher high now. Koch, change of character. Ah, didn't work out too well.
It was, yeah, smart money trap.
Yeah. So, okay, if you look at just this, can you identify some sort of buildup?
There's a There's a
Mini
build-up.
one, right? Just a baby
Yeah,
one.
mini. Yeah.
Okay, so should we get too excited about it?
No.
Okay, then let's go. Right, so that's technically for the smart money traders, support and resistance traders, shit, whatever they're messing around, giving them so many reactions, give them so many opportunities, then smoke them, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Then obviously they mess with the head as they're coming back and say, ah, it just grabbed my stop by just 5 pips. Maybe now it goes, right?
Right.
Obviously they give the reaction, so let's see if they give them a reaction or no. Oh, too bad. They're getting smoked again, right?
Yep.
But now, obviously, what we see, slowly but surely, the picture gets a little bit more clearer. Maybe continue a little bit more. So next time window is right about here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now it's nice. Now you should see it. So what's going on here? Can you see now a clean cycle buildup? There you go, right? That's a really, really nice channel. Is it? Or am I going crazy? And what should, maybe even make it like this so it's even nicer, right? So we have this really nice channel. And obviously we're still having, I mean, this cell potentially is out. This cell could still be running, right? So now we have to maybe readjust because guess what? We're having build up. What is this candles considered of?
A vector.
Exactly. Build up, getting obviously induced to the downside with momentum and speed with vector. So we have build up, inducement, and now we have to look to the left. So our initial target, as you marked it up perfectly fine, was equal lows, right?
Yeah.
If you get a little bit more to the left. Yeah, a little bit more. If you go again, see it, there you go. That technically was our initial target, which was 100% correct. But now, as we're having a cycle technically completed, build up into inducement,
Into mitigation.
we have to take to the look and see maybe there's something going on there. So could that then technically be the smart money trap into what?
Mitigation.
Yes, that's the danger of it. That's again where you be too optimistic about your target and don't see the cycles inside. That's definitely not the POI, right? But that's the smart money trap, right? But we still have the imbalances of here, right? Technically, that could be the internal inducement. Again, not the nicest one as this technically, yes, 100%, it's equal lows. And what is it for the bigger picture? Frankfurt inducement, giving you break of structure high, obviously builds up equal lows in here into inducement. So that technically is an internal inducement, 100%, not the nicest as it's still giving the equal lows in here. But again, that's the game of liquidity. They build up liquidity, they show liquidity, they take it out. They never take it out in one go. So of course they could sweep everything, but what's nice for them in the long run, obviously complete the little cycles, smart money trap into mitigation first, gives a reaction and then smoke it later. Right? That would be even nicer. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, but in terms of the cycle we have currently, build up, vector candles into timing, potential into mitigation, right? Does it make sense or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do we technically need to induce lower as you're already building up channels like crazy? We already had, again, these break of structures for the higher time frames. So do we need to induce lower potentially also again?
No, because we've just induced.
Exactly.
This area.
Yeah, even this area, right? Then even the smart money area, and then technically it could be ready for mitigation. How would we know? Based on the build-up before, vector candles into it, and the timing could look very juicy also to tap into them. Make sense? That's how you combine the cycles, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Again, if you're not sure, then at least, first of all, you have to adjust your target for this one, right? For the sell. Right, so again, if you're not sure about if they take it out, at least partial, whatever, big time, at least in these areas or whatever into the mitigation. Because again, is it worth risking like whatever, taking the target here or just whatever here? Is it literally worth like 1 or 2 risk?
No.
Exactly. That's the thing of like target picking, right? If you're not sure, just always be a little bit more unpessimistic or optimistic. And I think a 1 to 15 is nothing someone should ever complain about other if you Cameron.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Not too bad at all, is it?
No. Yeah. All right.
Let's see what we have.
Okay.
Cycle completion, vector candles into timing, build up inducement. Now taps the POI, is it?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's do what?
Waiting.
I would say so.
Yeah, we
Waiting for what though? Just
well,
waiting is good, but what do we wait for?
timing. For New York Open.
New trap.
Oh, New York trap.
Mm-hmm. And what would be our confirmations?
Potential.
Very good, Nicholas. Come on, come on, come on. What's the confirmations? Hit me. If you take any trade, come on. What do we have?
Late.
Uh-huh. What else?
Break of structure.
Exactly. What else maybe? Timing.
Timing.
Cycle completion. Right? And then obviously EDMs.
EDMs for continuation.
Exactly. So what do we have in this stage?
We had to build up.
Yeah.
Mitigation. We don't have any break of structure yet.
Exactly. So not much. We're just having a potential finished cycle, which we understand of, okay, the bigger cycle, they hold the building up the cell turn for the whole day. Now they're building a mini cycle into the build-up, into vector candles, into inducement, technically the inducement of the build-up, but into mitigation of the bigger picture. Had a smart mind trap before. Timing looks very juicy. And now we just wait, as Nicholas said very well, break of structures, let's low time and confirmation, something like that. Right? So what do? We jump over the 1 minute. Right? Okay. So let's wait.
What? No.
Right? We don't pull something out of ours. We just wait. So we say naive build-ups. One more time. Right? So we don't care about it too much. What's the push that led to the low? This one, right? So break of structure will be here.
Okay.
I like the way you modified your trading view that it jumps on the high automatically. That's pretty cool.
Just press control.
Oh shit! Is it actually what it is?
Yes.
Oh shit! I did not know that. That's crazy.
That's
a good trick.
Well.
Wow.
Just press control. Or
then it jumps to the high of the next candle. Did you know that, Cam? Come on, don't laugh at me. You did not know that. No, you did not. Liar. You did not know that.
But the shortcut is just control.
Who does believe that Cam knew that? I don't think he did. Oh shit. There you go. Okay, so makes new low. Do we care about that? No. So what's the push that made a new low now? So it's not this one we mocked up before. Exactly. Right. So that's again also why you don't get confused and maybe this one. Because this is technically, yes, the baby push, but again, pullback is here. That's the bigger push. So now obviously this is the bigger push. Boom. Makes a new low. We don't care about it. We only care. Oh no. What are you mocking up?
That is just this imbalance that created this push.
Oh yeah, but we're not interested in taking anything on this answer. We're obviously the exact opposite is the case, right?
Yes.
So now we're looking just for proper what?
Inducement.
No.
Mitigation.
No. So we had a cycle completion to low side. We had our vector candles. We have our POIs being tapped. Now we need to push that to low. So if it goes over this, what is this?
Fight.
No. Come on.
Break of structure.
There you go. And then we can do what?
Wait for a late.
Or mitigation or something like this, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right. So makes even new lows. We don't care about it at all. Oh my, actually did not make a new low.
Equal
Right,
lows.
still in there. No, again, that's not equal lows. That's like technically still done, right? Don't get confused about two little wicks, right? Equal lows has to be like more. Or even
Okay.
this is no, not considered equal lows. For the bigger picture, yes, but not for the cycle completion, right?
Okay.
Okay. So let's see what we have. Nothing. Okay, now we have something. What is this?
That's now a break of structure.
What does the timing say?
We are at London trap time.
Very good.
New York.
Right.
New York
New
trap time.
trap. Exactly. So do we have a cycle completion before that? Yes. Do we have vector
Yes.
candles? Yes. Do we type into POY? Yes. Do we have breaker structures? Yes. So in the time
Yes.
window? Yes. Do we look for confirmations? Yes.
Yes.
So what would be technically the push that led to this now first time value break of structure? Exactly. Where's your potential entry opportunity? Exactly. Can you mock it up? There you go. Maybe not this.
Or the extreme.
Yeah, no. I mean, you mocked this one up right, but not the box is not mocked probably. No. Take the lost imbalance. There you go. Something like something like this. You get my point, right? There you go. Something like this.
Yep. And
Okay. Then let's see. Okay. What a surprise.
okay, we don't have any lets.
Yeah. But it's technically there's a risky entry we could take.
Yes.
Exactly. But
Potentially,
again,
yes.
the thing is risky, but definitely valid to take for sure. Any targets? Again, we're still trading away from medium inducement.
Inducement. So it will be a short trade. I would say this will be a smart money trap area, potentially. So that will be potentially the first or a target. Short.
Yeah, very small target, but technically. Yeah, Asia low. Yeah, that I like actually Asia low, Nicholas. I like that actually. Or something like that. Again, you technically you have no clean liquidity areas. Again, you have just highs, whatever. You can randomly pick one, but that's not the point of doing anything in life. So choose the next liquidity zone. And as Nicholas said it very well, you could either choose again Asia midline, Asia midline or Asia low. That's technically the only valid liquidity zones of the day. But again, Asia midline is technically the extreme then. So that's your most optimistic target. And the most realistic target would be Asia low. I like that a lot.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep, it does.
Okay. So let's see what else do we got.
All right.
Okay, mini build up. You see the cycle. Come on. Stop.
Yep.
So where's your mini cycle in this one? Whoop. Help you out a little bit. This was the mini cycle, right? So guess what? We can expect a little pullback, inducing this little channel buildup. What should this channel buildup do? Best case, give us what?
Let.
Yeah, and if that would be the case, that would be obviously absolutely perfect.
Yep. But yeah, actually, we might.
Do we have any point with imbalance left, which would be under this channel buildup being induced? Again, this is the buildup. It induces the channel. Where could it tap into? Where's your last point of imbalance left? Just look at this. Where's your last point of imbalance? For continuation trades. Is there an imbalance?
Maybe.
No. Is there an imbalance?
Balance there.
Is there an imbalance? Is here an imbalance? Is here an imbalance? Where's the imbalance? You see?
There's imbalance.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the only point of imbalance left, is it?
And
Right. So if the lead obviously hits in this area, that would make perfect sense also. But here's no imbalance. Here's no imbalance. Here's no imbalance. Right? So you're obviously making a little bit sense out of it. So if the lead hits in here, that's something nice we can take. There you go. So let's see. Build-up gets induced. Comes to our POI. What is it? What a surprise. Oh my God. Complete scam.
And a let.
It's a let. Coincidentally, right into the point of interest with the imbalance. What a surprise. Only inducing the build-up. And it's only perfect, right? So obviously now we're having a very high entry. So that's obviously not the best one we can have. But whatever. Let's see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Nice reaction. Wants to give us shaky hands.
But we could have taken this because there was an imbalance.
Yeah, technically, yeah. Let's say you missed this one. Yes, you could see this as a baby break of structure and then take this one instead also. Yeah, technically, you could do that. Very good eyes. Younger eyes than me, that's for sure.
I don't think so.
Seems like it though. So there you go. Right? Jumps out of it. Really nice. And then let's see. Maybe actually go to the 5. Don't need to wait all day long. If it lets us. Okay. All right. Okay. Comes back all the way. That's obviously very unfortunate. Probably gives us a break even for sure.
Yes.
Okay. There's your break even. 100% guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's just unfortunate. Let's see what happens after that. Okay. Definitely shaky hands on a lower buy for sure. Okay. Told him to call me later. Call the calls again. Yeah, well, there you go. That's the day technically. Obviously, I had one very unfortunate BE, depending. Obviously, should have taken BE. If not, then he taken L with this one, right? With this crazy wick, but definitely this one still good. That's just very unfortunate it happened. Again, there's nothing you can do about it other than call me and shout at me. But other than that, there's not much we can do about that, right? So, but yeah, that's technically the day, and it makes actually perfect sense. The only question is for the next day after, is that now the mitigation, we should get the new higher highs and shit like that, induced in the medium inducement. Is this just now literally a triple bottom and we literally smoked that the next day?
Potentially take liquidity to the upside, but higher picture we want to trade
it definitely is a triple bottom, right? So we definitely still want to look for the downside.
Yes.
Very good. I think you're off for the hot seat for now. You managed to do absolutely perfect. Any questions for that though?
No, all good. Thanks, Reem.
Very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.